Carolina's Field, Forest, and Water. A closer look at agriculture in South Carolina and conversations between the current and future leaders of agriculture in the Palmetto State and experts from across America. Presented by the students of the South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture at John De La Howe. From our campus in McCormick County, here's our moderator, Dell Brockman.
Welcome to this edition of Carolina's Field, Forest, and Water. I am Dell Brockman, and today I am joined by the Senior Agribusiness Extension Agent and County Coordinator for Lexington County Office of the Clemson Cooperative Extension Agency. He is also the Director of the annual Ag+Art Tour that blends agriculture and art in a schedule of free self-guided tours of farms and farm markets with local artisans at each stop. This past summer, over weekends in May and June, the Ag+Art Tour has visited 11 counties with more likely to be added in 2024. Our guest, Dr. Will Culler.
It's nice to be here, Dell.
Nice to have you. So, to start off with, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Dell, I am an old farm boy from Orangeburg, South Carolina. Went off to Clemson back in the early 90s. Almost late 80s, but early 90s, and studied ag-econ, agribusiness. Went to work for banking, and then I went to work for Clemson Extension almost 20 years ago. And I was just talking about this a little while ago. About 10 years in, I realized what I was doing was a lot of entrepreneurial training and a lot of small business training to farmers, farm folks across a lot of different rural areas of South Carolina. And what it was spilling over into was a lot of agritourism. And what agritourism is bringing people onto your farm and onto a working farm and letting them experience what it is that you do, what it is that you show, what it is that you grow. And because of that, I went back to school at Clemson and got my PhD in tourism management and in agritourism. And it's been really going well since then. Like you say, the Ag+Art Tour has been an incredible experience for the last 12 years in the state. We're in our 13th year now, and we're looking to have over 200 tour sites this year. So it's going to be fantastic in April and May. Or May and June, excuse me.
All right. Well, so you do a lot of agritourism. So say like for small counties such as like McCormick or maybe Abbeville, how can agritourism like help that town grow?
First and foremost, I mean, you guys are so close to Georgia. You're so close to the North Augusta market, some other big markets. Bring people in. Bring people for economic development. Bring people in to experience what your town has to offer. Community development. That's what it's all about. You know, people are going to come in and they're going to hear those incredible stories about your founder here and the cotton gins and other things that McCormick has to offer. They can come into the governor's school, this site, De La Howe, and see some incredible things that you have going on. There's so many different ways to show farming here on this site and everything that it entails. And people want to see that. They want to experience that. The different generations of this people, this day and age, you know, the younger generations, your generation, and even younger, they want to come in and they want to see what it's all about. They want to know what they've done, and they want to know what's happening. One thing that's really neat that I've seen a lot of the older generations. They want to bring their grandkids in. They want their grandkids to come and see, you know, what it was like when they were younger, and it really blends the heritage of South Carolina together. When you think about South Carolina from a historical standpoint, what did we start out as? We started out as, you know, the two real things in our society were art and ag. Everything was agriculture and business, you know, 200 years ago. And then art was the getaway. So art and ag were together. And that's truly our historical compass. And if we can really show that, you know, people nowadays that, you know, don't understand that. They don't understand where the agriculture came from or how it really relates to South Carolina. But just being able to show that through agritourism and through these farm trails of the Ag+Art Tour is what an incredible experience.
So as a Clemson Extension Agent, how can you help people get involved in agritourism and like start their farm off on that pathway? Great
question. I almost commend you for the segue into one of the latest projects I've been working on. It's an agritourism. It's an ag plan. It's a business plan for agritourism, and It's on a site called Ag+Plan, and that's through the University of Minnesota Extension. But it's a free website called Ag+Plan. Go there. You can Google Ag+Plan and look it up. You can get in there and you can actually download free templates or create free templates for a business plan specifically for agritourism. I've been working with a team of colleagues on different universities, different land-grant colleges throughout the country, from California to Vermont to Minnesota, over to Colorado and up to Alaska. And we've been working on this agritourism template for about the past year. We finally have it designed. And again, it's out there on agplan.com.
Well, so as a Clemson Extension agent, what besides agritourism do you help on and you work on?
Oh, goodness gracious. I am the county coordinator in the Lexington office, and we have in that office, we have 10 other agents and staff working there. We have everything from 4-H, as you're probably very familiar with. We have livestock. We have a consumer horde agent. We have a commercial horde agent. We have food safety. That's becoming a real issue in our day and age right now with people understanding food safety, understanding packaging, understanding the rules and regulations around selling value-added products on their farm or value-added products within their community. It's a really, really big issue. We have nutrition agents. We have, I mentioned livestock. We have so many other different types of ag, but Clemson Extension really works to put everything from the economic and community development for the rural communities in our state together. And that's reaching out to the farms and touching them in so many different ways.
So Clemson Extension, it helps with all aspects. It's not just agritourism or 4-H. It helps with everything any farm would need.
It was, yeah. We really are focused on the farm. We're focused on rural development. When you think about the land grant colleges in our state, Clemson and South Carolina State, that's where the teaching. So Clemson Extension, what we do is we bring that research on campus. We bring that research in the ag colleges on both of our land grant universities. And we bring that knowledge back to the consumer. We bring that knowledge back to the farmer and back to the citizen of all of South Carolina and all of rural South Carolina.
So another question I have is, how in the world do you combine agriculture and art together?
Great question. This started out, the Ag+Art Tour started out, I mentioned 13 years ago. It was in York County. They did the Catawba Ag+Art Tour, and it was started out as a combination between the Arts Commission and Clemson Extension, which is a very unique combination. It doesn't happen very often. And it was a great combination there. They figured that they could do an art tour, they could do an ag tour. Why don't we combine those? What are some ways we can get people to come to the farm? Some of the farms may not have as much. I know one of our greatest farms was in Union County on the Ag+Art Tour. It's been going on for a long time. It's a grits mill, and basically they have it's called 3-horse farms. They have 3 horses going around grinding the corn for the grits, and they sell the grits right there. Well, people could come out and see that, but there's really not a lot to see. They have the corn growing and they have grits mill. Well, what they did is they decided, hey, since the Ag+Art Tour, they brought artisans on site. They had 20, 30 artisans there, and they had people coming from all over just to see this combination of art and ag. What is it all about? And so that has worked so much. It's worked, like I mentioned, over 120 tour sites last year. People want to see, they want to experience, they want to know, what's happening on the farm, but they also want to be able to eat something that's cooked there. They want to be able to hear some great singers that are locally, or they want to see the whittlers and whittling some really cool things, or stone makers, or whatever they or whatever's out there, painters, or it all comes together. When I say artisans, what we really focus on is handcrafted, handmade art. Everything from local singing to metalworks to bakers. What we can have there, and people are really, they eat it up, and they love to come and experience that. Again, it comes down to what I mentioned earlier, the culture that you want to see, the South Carolina culture, the heritage that we have between art and ag, and the combination of the two is really a mystery to a lot of people. And believe it or not, there are kids out there that they've never been on a farm. They have no idea what that entails. They have no idea what, the eggs and chickens and sheep and goats and beef. They don't have any clue. But being able to come on the farm and take a look, it's an eye-opening experience. It's an educational component that is missing in so many places right now, and so that's what we're here for.
So y'all are really like, it opens people's eyes that normally wouldn't go to a farm. It gets everybody involved. It gets the artisans and it gets the farmers, and it just really opens people's eyes, is what you're saying. It teaches people.
It does. And it teaches people. It tells people, hey, this is what, this is where our food comes from. And one really cool thing that I've seen, one really good thing that I've seen, yes, why would the farmer want to be on this tour? What's in it for the farmer? One thing that's in it for the farmer is obviously they're marketing their products. They can sell their products on the tour, whether it be produce or meats, proteins, but they can also market their brand. The farmer can market their brand. They can say, hey, look, we're here. We sell our grits. We sell our beef. We sell our produce at the local restaurants. That's what it's all about. Another great thing that I've experienced that I didn't realize I was going to experience from the tour is that the farmers can say, hey, we're not open, 365 days a year we're not open, but this one weekend we're going to be open to our neighbors. And why do they want to be open to their neighbors? Because their neighbors, they may have lived there for 5, 10, 15 years. They have no idea what that farmer does. Might be right just a mile down the road, but they don't know. They don't know why that farmer is on the road at 5:30 in the morning going, 20 miles an hour. They don't know why that farmer has those smells and those sounds. That neighbor doesn't know that. But you know what? If they get on that farm and they see that and they experience that and they experience the farm itself, that's an eye-opening experience. And it's great for the farmer to have those relations with the community. So we're bringing the community to the farmer, and we're bringing the farmer to the community.
So what would a typical weekend on this tour look like?
Another great question. You're on top of it, I'm telling you. Typical weekend, like I mentioned earlier, the tour is every weekend in May and June, starting the first weekend, ending in May, and ending the last week in June. Counties sign up to be on the tour. They choose what weekend they'd like to be on. So one weekend you may have one county, you may have 3 counties, you may have 5 counties. I don't know. This year we're going to have over 20 counties on the tour, from the upstate to the Midlands to the Low Country, over to Lee County and Sumter County and Kershaw, so in the Catawba region. So we're going to cover most of the state, which is going to be truly incredible, or a lot of the state. A typical weekend is you get to you can go on agritourism.com on our website. It's an interactive mapping website. You can go on the website, you can choose a map, choose your county, click on that county, and the farms are going to come up. It's going to tell you where they are. It's going to give you an address to where they are. You can click on it to a Google address. You can really map out your tour before you go, and that's what it's all about. So that weekend you can go to one county or 2 counties. The next weekend you can go to another county. You can go to counties every weekend, and it's all free. It's all free to get on that tour, get on that farm, and experience. You may have to purchase the food. You may have to purchase a specific ride, but it's all free to go there, and that's what it's all about. One thing I ask my farms when they're going to be on the tour, I say, okay, the one thing I want from the farm, obviously it's got to be an authentic local experience, but I want the farmer to be there. I want the farmer to say, hey, this is what I do every day. Maybe the farm gives a tour. Maybe the farmer gives a tour on regular rotation throughout the day or the 2 days. But I want the farmer to say, hey, this is what I go through every day, because people, they want to experience that. They don't want to just go see, singers and dancers and they don't want to just go see the hogs and pet the hogs and leave. They want to go there and they want to experience what the farmer does. They want to know that true, authentic experience. And that's what it's all about. So that's what the day consists of. It's funny. Every year, I have a family. I have 2 boys and my wife and my boys. We always try to go to one new county every year for myself to experience that. People say, "Oh, you're the director of the Ag+Art Tour. You probably go." There's no way I can go to every farm, and it's impossible. And I tell people, I try to get to a county that I haven't been in the past. I try to go to as many farms as I can. We don't make 5, 6, 7 farms in a day. That's almost impossible. Because I love it. I go to the farm and I just be able to experience that, be able to see that. And the farms are set up and they're ready, and they have all the signage and they have all the food trucks there, and they have other things that people want to see. And so being able to go to more than 4 or 5 farms in a day, it's almost impossible. But you know what? You can do it again the next day, and then you can do it the next weekend. You can do it all the way through May and June, and that's what the true experience, the true beauty of this whole tour is. People can have that experience over and over and over again, and they can bring their friends and their family and their grandkids. And so many of the older generation has really taken a hold of this and said, I want to take my grandkids because I want to show them what it was like, and that's it.
So, how many and what counties are involved in this Ag and Art Tour?
Okay, so last year we had 11 counties. So we started off in 2012 with one county, York County. Quickly went, after York did it and had a great success. Back then it was called the Catawba Ag and Art Tour, and York County did it in 2012. Great success. Chester said, hey, we want to be a part of it. Fairfield, Lancaster, Chesterfield, some of the other Catawba region counties, they want to be a part of it. By 2019, when I took it over, it was mostly around that area. Some other counties had dabbled in it. Newberry had come on board. Kershaw had come on board. When I took it over, we expanded into the Midlands region with Lexington, Richland, then down to Colleton. We've had some others. This coming year, we're going to add 8 or 9 counties. We're going to go up to 20 to 21 counties, which is going to be really neat. We're going to be in the upstate. Pickens County is on board. Obviously, McCormick County is coming on board. The Governor's School. That's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see that. If you haven't been to the Governor's School before, haven't seen what all they have here at De La Howe, you've got to come out that weekend. That's going to be May 4th, and that's going to be the first weekend of the Ag and Art Tour. That's going to be that Saturday is going to be at De La Howe, and that's going to be a great experience. Cannot wait for that. And that's going to be the one I take my family to this year. I can't wait. So, but that's it.
So you heard it here first, folks. May 4th, De La Howe is the place to be. So mark your calendars.
Got it.
So how do you see this Ag+Art Tour growing in the future?
Man, I tell you, and it's funny you ask. I'm actually working with a team of agribusiness professionals, Dr. Steve Richards, Ben Bowles, Charlie Hilton, and we're working on a business plan right now to see what we can do, a 5-year business plan for the Ag and Art Tour. Where do I see it go? I see it grow, continue to grow. I'd love for it to be statewide. I do have some legislative support. I do have support from all of my counties. All the counties and the county councils are all over this. I've got some great support from the South Carolina Arts Commission. Those guys are really on top of things. I've got some great support from so many other people. Places like the Governor's School for Ag. The support I'm getting now is fantastic. So can't wait for this. Can't wait to see, what happens with this. And where do we see it grow? I'd love to take it statewide. I think right now, as we grow 4 or 5 counties per year, we'll see what happens. The partners are coming out of the woodwork. I can tell you, people are really, really interested in this, and it comes from consumer demand. The state of South Carolina, the population of South Carolina, they want to know what their heritage culture was, and I think exploring that heritage even further, exploring that heritage, exploring the art heritage in relation to agriculture, and how that's going to go. That's coming up big, and it's going to be a great experience in years to come.
So to be a part of this Ag+Art Tour, you talk to your local Clemson Extension office and talk to them about it, so to be put on the schedule.
The county signed up. It's county by county. What it is I let this be a grassroots driven, local driven initiative. So the county signs up. I let the county form a committee. And I'll come and speak to the committee. I offer all of the resources around that, the website, the social media, all the signage, all the paperwork, the press releases, everything, the branding, everything around that I offer and I control as a director. That county committee, the county chair people work with me one-on-one, and we work we're already starting out meeting, and we're starting out with their emails are flying, and we're going to get ready to prepare for the 2024 tour, which feels like it's a long ways out, but it's coming up before we know it in April or in May of 24. So working with those committees. If a county wanted to be on the tour, if the county said, hey, I'd like some of our farms, we'd like to be part, they would just contact me. And all of my information is on the agriculturetour.com website or social media pages. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the other stuff that I don't even know about. So it's all there. But agritourism.com is where it all begins. And someone would just contact me and say, hey, we're interested, and go from there. If you want to be a part of the tour, just being a participant or a visitor, again, just go to the website. Take a look at the counties that are participating for that year. It's not updated yet. We're still building our county list and our farm list right now. That should be updated sometime in early 2024. But you'll just go to that and say, hey, I want to plan my tour out. Go plan your tour out. Figure out where all you're going to be and go for it. You'll have the opportunity to visit numerous farms over the weekends in May and June.
So back to agritourism, how can a farmer kind of train or you told us how to get into it, but how can they prepare themselves to take that next step into agritourism?
Oh goodness. Again, it's going to start with looking at what they have to offer. It's going to start with taking inventory of their property. It's going to start with taking inventory of what they do. I've got some great farms. We've even had farms that were row crop farms that have diddled in it. I think one great way to try to get an idea of what you can do is to be on a farm tour. Do this. That's one reason why the Ag+Art Tour was designed. That farm only has to take 1 weekend out of the year to do that tour, and they have people come on their farm and they can check it out. I do have some farms that in the past they started out never having agritourism on their site, never having people come on their farm. They did start out in the Ag+Art Tour, and after 10 years, they're doing agritourism, 9 months out of the year. That's incredible. They're making a lot of extra funding there. They're having, really building their brand. That's even more important. Building their brand, and people know of them, and they know to come to them. They know that that's where the best peaches come from, or that's where the best tomatoes come from. They're growing tomatoes year round, and you might can guess the places I'm speaking of. But that type of stuff, it's incredible. What's happening, with one of the best success stories I could possibly say is, hey, a farm comes to me and says, Will, we've been on the tour for 12 years, and the Ag+Art Tour has meant so much to us because we've been able to expand and grow our agritourism site. But you know what? We want to step away from the tour this coming year. We want to let one of these smaller farms take over. We want to let one of the smaller farms take our place. And we don't want them to do it. We want to help them. We want to promote them. But we're already doing agritourism now, and you've got to set up. That's one of the best compliments we can ever get.
Oh, I can only imagine. I mean, that's fantastic. And I really enjoy what you're doing here because most people don't think that agriculture and art could go together. Mick, I really didn't think about it until we started this podcast. But, I mean, I really think it's a really cool thing you're doing. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you coming down here to talk to us. So thank you, Dr. Will Culler, Director of the Ag+Art Tour and the Lexington County Clemson Cooperative Extension Agent. And thank you for tuning into this edition of Carolina's Field, Forest, and Water. And I'm Dell Brockman. And join us next week for another conversation about agriculture here at the Governor's School for Agriculture at John De La Howe. Thank you.
Carolina's Field, Forest, and Water. A closer look at agriculture in South Carolina and conversations between the current and future leaders of agriculture in the Palmetto State and experts from across America. Presented by the students of the South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture at John De La Howe. For more information on the South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture, visit our website at delahowe.sc.gov.